Welcome to another edition of our weekly Parashat portion. This week's Parasha is Parashat Emor, and there's a pasuk that says as follows. The pasuk says, "Ushmartem et mitzvotai va'asitem otam ani Hashem." You shall watch my mitzvot, shall perform my mitzvot, I am Hashem. Rashi tells us the simple interpretation is that Ushmartem et mitzvotai means to learn about the mitzvot, Mishnah. Va'asitem otam means to follow through and perform them in action. I saw an interesting question by Rabbi Mordechai Kamenetsky. He says as follows, that Ushmartem et mitzvotai means you should watch and observe the mitzvot. Perhaps that's where the term Observant Jew stems from. And you should perform the mitzvot. At face value, if you are performing mitzvot, you're surely watching the mitzvot, and you surely know about the mitzvot. It's all inclusive. The Torah could have used one simple word and just said, Va'asitem otam. How can you have a person that's actually doing the mitzvot, but he's not watching out for them? If he's doing them, then he knows about them. He's aware. He's watching for them. So I'd like to answer with the following story. A few months back, I was by a Sheva Barachot for my sister that got married. And there was a man there, and he told me that about 30 years ago, he heard of a man that was in the hospital, sick, from our community, but he was really out there. He had nothing to do with our community in years, and he wanted to go visit this fella. So he called a friend of his and he says, let's go, let's take a trip. Guy was in a hospital out in Long Island, and they got into the car together. They arrive at the hospital. They don't know what they're going to say to this man. They don't know him from nothing. All they know is that he's sick and he's from our community. They go up the elevator and into his room, and there's a few beds in this room. They go over to him and they start talking and trying to cheer him up, and the man was very, very cold. Didn't really have much of an interaction. But they did what they can. They spent their time there, and now it was time to go. So they're on their way out, and they get to the elevator, and his friend says to him, hey, I forgot my attaché case. I got to go back to the room. So his friend's walking back to the room, and right before he enters the room, he hears the man that they visited, the sick man. He starts yelling. And he's telling to all his people in the room with him, all these sick people, he's saying, look at that. You see? My community. You see how my community cares about me? They care. They came to visit me all the way from Brooklyn. And this made such an impression. They couldn't believe it. When they're sitting there, they didn't even feel like they were doing anything. But yet, it made the guy's day. It made him feel so special and cared for. So, this inspired this man to create a meeting in his house. And he got together on a Thursday night, called a couple of friends. He had 3 people. And they said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the hospitals. We're going to look up the lists at the hospitals, any names that sound Jewish. We're going to make arrangements about, different visitation schedules that we'll make and to the hospitals in the surrounding area. And everybody do your homework and find out anybody that you know that's sick in the hospital, and we'll arrange a visit. We'll meet back here next Thursday. And that's what they did. And the next Thursday came, and they had about 10, 15 people at the next meeting. And the following week, they had about 30 people. And by the 4th week, they had 50 people on a Thursday night in this guy's house. And they couldn't even fit them. This kept on growing and growing. The man in this story's name is Joe Bijou. And the organization that was born from these small meetings in his house is Sephardic Bikur Halim. How beautiful that he was looking out and thought of such an opportunity to create a mitzvah and create all these people being involved in visiting these sick people. Perhaps that's what the Torah is telling us. Ushmartem et mitzvotai va'asitem otam. Watch the mitzvot. Be on the lookout for the mitzvot. Be on guard for the mitzvot. Be creative. Be innovative. Look for opportunities. Don't just do a mitzvah when, you feel like it. Open your eyes and think of different ways to perform mitzvot. There are hundreds and hundreds of opportunities that pass us every single day. We can help a lady carry her groceries. We can smile to a person in the street. There are so many ways that we can come up with doing the mitzvot. The Chafetz Chaim tells us that the pasuk says, "Im tibakshena kakasef," that we have to look at the Torah and the mitzvot like money, like a business. In a business, we're always trying to stay ahead of the curve. We're always trying to come out with a new product. That's how it has to be with the Torah and mitzvot. We're always looking for the next best way to perform mitzvot and put money in the bank. Shabbat Shalom.